Now let's go straight to the Super Falcons of Nigeria. On Monday, which was yesterday, they began their training ahead of Cape Verde's African WAFCON qualifiers against Cape Verde at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abuja. Now, 9 players trained with the team yesterday, and not a good turnout, of course, of players who would be preparing for Thursday's game anytime. But of course, they trained and they're preparing for Thursday's match against Cape Verde. Your impression on the turnout of players and how the first training session went?
I'm not impressed at all based on this turnout. We are entering towards a slippery slope, and sense that once we start giving into poor attitude and poor attendance, discipline for the women's national team, it tends to spiral out of control if it's not nipping the bud on time. Because you expect that, we are not as superb as we used to be in African women's football. We sometimes struggle to beat teams that we naturally should close our eyes playing this kind of games, but that is no longer the case because we are not people will say there are no more minnows. Well, they may be partially right, but we are not at our dominant best. That is the foreign factor that you have to consider because when we have players who not only show up on time, they walk over teams easily. We have some of the best players playing some of the best leagues around the world, dropping quality performance week in and out, and then we come to Africa as a team, as the Nigerian women's national team, the most dominant and the most powerful in Africa, and sometimes getting an away win is difficult. You have to draw away, and then you come home, and then you run after them winning before eventually you get some victories under our belt. We are not at our dominant best, so we cannot afford to let the lack of discipline and lack of regular attendance, knowing that even the coach is new. This should be about his third match in charge of the team. He needs regular attendance to be able to imbibe his pattern, his technique on the team, to imprint it on them for them to be able to deliver. So he needs as much time as possible from the players. And so not showing up on time is a bit of a worry for me. Although naturally Cape Verde don't worry us that much.
Yeah, talking about Cape Verde not worrying Nigeria. Justin Madugu had something to say about his opponent that he will play on Thursday. Let's listen to the coach of the Super Falcons of Nigeria. I'll be right back.
Sometimes we tend to miss the whole thing. Gone are the days when people play football with names. And when you hear a particular country, people assume they are not a footballing country without us knowing how much they have invested into the development of their game. Over the past 3 years, Cape Verde has done a lot. They have improved a lot, and they have invested so much in their game. The first major tournament they participated in was the WAFCON competition in 2020. And check the results of their performance in that competition. They came fourth in that tournament, which was their first major tournament. And this year alone, they also did well in the WAFU Zone A competition, getting to the finals and only losing to Senegal by just a lone goal, which was even a penalty kick, which is also part of the game. And, people do not realize the fact that they have a lot of their players playing in Portugal. As many as about 11 of their professional players are playing in Portugal. And they have gained that experience. And the home-based players at home, they have majority of the players, nucleus of the home-based players coming from 2 major teams. So, they have the advantage of having that understanding of being together for quite a while, understanding themselves, and then you would not just assume that it will just be a stroll in the park. Certainly.
All right, that was Justin Madugu, coach of the Super Falcons of Nigeria, expressing his concerns about Cape Verde and how they have majority of their players playing in Portugal and, understanding themselves and would really bring up a good fight against the Super Falcons. We're still being joined by Editor Badino, who is currently talking about the Super Falcons and what their chances are. Editor, you listened to the coach. He spoke about the Cape Verde team. It seems he knows them very well, and that's a plus for the Super Falcons, but there's something to worry about, especially with a team who plays majority in a particular country in Europe.
Yeah, of course, we have to be wary of the Portuguese influence for Cape Verde because of history and the connection between both countries. So rightly put by him. But you still have to ask the question: are they playing for some of the best teams in the Portuguese league? And what is the ranking for the Portuguese league when it comes to even in European women's football, basically. But that is not saying they're a bad team. It just shows that they also have a European experience and they have some level of quality players within their ranks. He said it himself. They lost to Senegal in the final of the WAFU. For him, that means a lot for them to go as far as the final. But we have to also consider that's within the West African ranks. But when you worry so much about your opponent, about what they give, you tend to forget what you can bring to the table with the quality of players that you have. The quality that we have tells us basically that it should not be an hard game. Though no one is asking him to just look down on them, but you concentrate more on your strength. It's good for him that he has an idea of how they play. I want to believe that if he had monitored them to know that they got to the final of the WAFU and they play in the Portuguese league, he has an idea of how they play, and that's half of the job is done. Football coaching nowadays is about information, and once he has demonstrated the ability to have and process the right information about his opponent, deploying it should not be a problem because of the quality of players that you have on our side, and he has to concentrate more on the quality out on the side and how much damage they can do, and not giving to the excuse that they are no longer minnows, they are rising. This is not being bullish. You cannot expect a top national team in the world playing against a lesser opponent with players covered here and there, and then we should be able to worry. He has shown that he has the information, and I think he should do some good work with the information that he has got with him.
All right. With the information he has, we can only wish the Super Falcons well. Hopefully, we have more numbers in camp today, to still push forward the training and ahead of the game against Cape Verde. 21 players were invited. 9 players trained yesterday. Hopefully, we'll have more than 9 or even a full house today at the MKO Abiola Stadium.